There isn't really much left to say by this point about OnePlus 7 Pro on YouTube and social platforms. So I was actually thinking of not making this video at all and instead going to the next video I have lined up. But even after all the reviews that are there online, I still had many of my friends come up to me and ask me my take and my thoughts on the phone. I realized they were doing so because they knew they would get a crisp, no-nonsense summary from me of all the main pros and cons of this device, and in the shortest time possible. So why not share that same info with you as well? And hey, just a note, do watch the video till the very end because I will compare this, the OnePlus 7 Pro, with all the other competition in the market right now. Let's talk about the cons later. First, focusing on the pros. The most obvious one is the screen. It's huge, notchless, and 90 Hz. This was something I would have expected from Samsung, the masters of OLED technology, to get it right first. But no, it's OnePlus. The colors are accurate, it has HDR10 support, so the screen, pretty much perfect. Second is a set of cameras. It had really made me sad when 5T had swapped out the 2x telephoto camera of the OnePlus 5 for a completely pointless depth sensing second camera. And that stupid trend continued all the way till 6T. Well, I'm finally happy to notify that the triple camera system is of different focal lenses this time around. So you've got a 13-78mm lens in your pocket at all the time. That's superb versatility if you ask me. As for the image quality itself, though not the best of the best, it still comes very close. So that's a non-issue to me. Camera is covered well this year by OnePlus. The third pro of this phone is flagship grade internals. That's Snapdragon 855, starts with a healthy 6GB of RAM and goes to a crazy and not needed 12GB unless you want to install Linux on it and do coding. And storage is starting at 128 gigs, going to 256GB. But more importantly, it's UFS 3.0. And even though the speed increase in day-to-day use might not feel as drastic as the difference you feel when you put an SSD in your old laptop, still, the higher speed storage is always better to have. Not that OnePlus phones ever felt sluggish, but the 90Hz screen, UFS 3.0, dozen gig of RAM, and SD 855 takes OnePlus 7 Pro into a completely new league of perceived speed. Apart from those three pros, here are a few more good things that you need to know. Stereo loudspeaker, always appreciated, at least a bit of remorse for slaying the headphone port. Pop-up selfie cam is superb for me since I anyway don't snap selfies much, so it's better to have it tucked in and not eating up into that gorgeous screen up front. 30-watt warp charging, even though not as crazy fast as sister company Oppo R17 Pro's SuperVOOC, which is at 50 watt, it's still fantastic. And Haptic Motor has improved. This is something actually largely ignored by majority of the Android crowd, but it drastically improves the day-to-day use feel of the phone. iOS just gets this right, and it has been doing so since I think iPhone 7. And Oxygen OS, still the only variant of Android that to most, including me, feels nicer and smoother than Google Pixel phones, which is incredible since the OS is Google's own. And lastly, the fingerprint sensor. It's finally much faster than it was from 6T because that was really pain to use in that regard. So those are the pros. The bad things in the phone. To me, the biggest and the only real con is the lack of headphone jack. Now you might argue that flagships don't have it these days, or why stay in the past? Well, that doesn't matter because 3.5mm jack was something that just wasn't broken and didn't really need fixing. Another con is no wireless charging. I don't really care about this, and unless you have wireless charging pads scattered all around the places you visit throughout the day, I don't really think you should care about this either. And one more con is no official IP rating. But looking at the OnePlus ads and looking at the YouTubers trying to dunk the phone in water, most probably it seems like very much the phone is made waterproof. It's conclusion time. At 48,999 for base OnePlus 7 Pro here in India, it's not what you'd call cheap, but then the compromises are also that much lesser. And just to be thorough, looking at the market of flagship grade Android phones out there right now, here is the scene. Huawei P30 Pro, the most versatile and innovative camera with the best quality and a battery life champ, but not at all my favorite software and cannot unlock Huawei bootloaders now, meaning no custom ROMs. So this one's out. Pixel 3 series, Google's own OS, and even they are having RAM management issues. That is pretty much pathetic. Besides, latest Android beta is now open to devices from other manufacturers as well. So that's not really unique to Pixel anymore. Pixel camera app and computational photography algo has been ported to a lot of devices. So neither is the camera now unique or the best. And the price is still more than OnePlus 7 Pro, even after all the price cuts. That brings us to Galaxy S10. This one would have been so close. Samsung held back from introducing the display notch 2 years, and I was really happy they didn't copy the iPhone blindly. But when everyone started moving to mechanized selfie cameras, giving full front screen, these guys, Samsung, went ahead with punch hole display design, which to me is almost as bad as the notch. So unlike the S9 series, the S10 series design isn't flawless. But the deal breaker to me is the Samsung UX. Every year they've really tried to improve the software, and this year's One UI is the best they've done so far. But somehow still, after more than a decade worth of UX experimentation, their software just doesn't feel as smooth and as fast as stock Android UX. Else, with proper IP rating, 3.5mm port, and small footprint, this would have been the perfect phone. Can't believe I'm saying this, but OnePlus 7 Pro is the closest thing to perfection this year so far, and it's not a Galaxy S series phone, which on any other year it would have been. All these years, OnePlus 6 was an awesome buy because it was the most awesome value. Now it's an awesome buy because it's truly most awesome. I hope you really liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.